New game.
None. N-U-N.
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 Lack. L-A-C-K.
Oh, sorry, you gotta wait for it to say go.
P.
This is the game. And, okay, you'll see this your score. I've got a complicated thing for establishing the score. Maybe we'll take that out. And this is what the percentage of words you got right and words you got wrong. Here's the correct and the total. So this is the number you've gotten correct, and this is the total. All right, you ready for your? And if the spelling speed is too slow, you can push this button to make it go up.
I want it to slower.
Okay, well let's try. We can try 0.5. 0.5 is pretty.
0.5.
Okay.
Prove. P-R-O-V-E. Switch. S-W-I-T-C-H. Status. S-T-A-T-U-S.
Wait. So you gotta wait for the go. I'm sorry. I know the go sucks. The go is difficult, but the go is there because I couldn't figure out how to do the timing. So I maintain an online repository of Explorable Explanations, which are little, just one-off applications to teach subjects. I have on the left here, I've got literacy. On the right, I've got mathematics. And these are just little one-off applications I've written over the years to help make little educational applications for my kids. So here is one of the applications, an application I just wrote recently. This application, my son wanted to help my son with his spelling. And sometimes when my kids are writing, they say, how do I spell this word? And how do I spell that word? And it's a fun little game to tell your kid to spell the whole word out for your kids in kind of a sing-along fashion and see if they can remember it, call back that sequence of letters and write them all down. And I thought that would make a great game. So I made this little end-back spelling game.
B-U-T. Code. C-O-D-E. Begin.
Oh, that was appropriate.
B-E-G-I-N.
Well, if we get it wrong, oops, did I break it? There we go.
Glad. G-L-A-D.
And so this application, what it is, it reads out to you. It makes use of the browser's speech synthesis feature, which is a relatively new feature. I use it in a lot of my applications. You can hear it reading off the word. It doesn't read in the most legible way, but the kids seems to work for the kids. So I added a little timer here to time how long they've been typing words, the ratio of correct words to total words. I got the score feature, which is Matt takes the level, adds the points for the level, so each correct letter they type goes into the score. And then, as you can see, I've got some rounding I need to add to this. You can also see, if I hit New Game, I do a divide by zero. Which creates a not a number error in my JavaScript. So there's a little bit of cleanup I need to do here. And thank you. I did not, when I hit the Alt key, that was not the key to spell cat. So this is the end-back spelling game. Over here on the right, I want to show you, this is a neat thing in Sublime Text, and other text editors out there have this. This is really, I think this is really important to find yourself a good text editor to troubleshoot to write your code in, because the color coding just makes things so easy. And then over here on the right, you'll see there's this sort of code preview going on. And so this, you're looking at the CSS. I can see my CSS. And then these are the arrays of words. As you can see, the majority of this file is words. Words. We have 11 letter words at the 11th position of the array, 12 letter words in the 12th position, going all the way to, I think I stopped gathering words at 15. I have never reached 15, level 15 in this application yet. My son made it to level 7, which for an end-back exercise is, I think that's just about right, because a human being is only able to remember about seven things before they start to have real troubles. So that's about right. And down here, but then we get into the JavaScript and finally the HTML part of the code. So speaking of the code, I'll give you a quick overview of that. We have the document ready. There are increment and decrement functions, which are used to adjust the speed of the spelling.
Bow. B-O-W.
So you can see that. There's Windows key down functions because we need to be able to detect when the user presses different keys on the keyboard. And the one problem we have is we got to stop the user from holding down buttons. This was a problem, something I added to any game that involves typing and small children. I've added the prevent them from holding down the key button because it just triggers a million JavaScript events and just creates a huge headache. So new game. When you click the new game button, one thing I do is I check to see if the browser supports speech synthesis, and gives you an alert if your browser does not support it. Speech synthesis is kind of interesting. I keep getting a warning while coding this. I kept getting a warning in the console that speech synthesis can only be activated if the user clicks a button to activate it. Luckily, we've got the new game, and the new game does click the button to activate. But sometimes while coding, I found that there were functions that were instantiating because of the way I was calling them. I used an await at one point trying to get the timing right. And when I used the await, apparently that loaded the speech synthesis and caused the console to throw an error saying, hey, we're not going to allow this because the user didn't instantiate it. I did end up giving up the whole await thing. So set the current world level to the min. The word level is minimum word level is 3. I do have an array of 2-letter words, but so many of those words were so not even words, and the speech synthesis had a hard time reading them as well. Set the current sort to 0. Set the current streak to 0. Set the total correct to 0. Set the total words that you've tried to spell to 0, and then wait for the first key to be pressed. Then we're going to update the level and score streak, which is updating the update level and score streak, which updates these div tags, which these are the div tags, updates all of these. Thank you, that was the wrong key. The updates all these levels and score streaks with the current word level and streak to give the user their feedback. And then we're going to get the next word. The get next word function sets the total words to +1, gets the current word, checks the current word level, and grabs a random. And this is, look at that, that's a random number where the upper bound is the length of the current word level array. So, like if this was 15, it would get the length. If we were on level 15, it would get the length of this array, and then grab a random word out of between 0 and that word, and the upper bound of that array and that word. Boy, I gotta think about how I'm talking here. All right, then speak and spell word. This was a real pain in the butt function. So, speak word is a new speech synthesis. We take the word and we send it to this the word goes to this function, and then we've also split up the word into an array of its characters. Where did I do that? I had to have done that somewhere. Speak and word current word character array is here. You take the current word, split it on nothing, and it splits all the letters in the word into an array, which we are then going to use to spell the word. The speak word language is ENUS. I could probably test some other. This is the voice you're hearing now. I believe other voices are supported. It varies from browser to browser. I haven't messed with that much. The speak word rate is currently 1. Sometimes I experimented with having the speaker speak more slowly or speak more quickly, and then the on-end function. When it's done speaking this word, I change the display to the user to wait, and then have them speak the word. So at the end of speaking the word, it's going to show them a wait. And then we take the spelled out word, and we're going to join it with spaces. And so now instead of the word as one word, it's now every letter in the array joined with spaces between it. The speech synthesis utterance is now going to read the spelled out word, which I've noticed, this is probably a bug, but sometimes it seems to skip the letter M, not always, but sometimes. Then the spell word rate, we're taking a parse float to convert the spelling speed input value to a floating point integer, which you can see here is now 2.1, and that's going to error. So wonderful. And then on end, I tried a lot of different ways of doing this. This is where I spent the majority of this, the programming on this application, is trying to get a problem I had was users would start typing before the word had finished spelling, and then which would queue up another word.
BURN.
And what my kids found is in playtesting is that they could just start smashing keys and queue up a million speech synthesize into the queue, and then they'd walk away from the computer, and the computer would then talk for like another half hour spelling words until you actually you would have to close the browser window sometimes, or refresh the page. Thank you. This is a technical issue we're having with this video, the buzzer sound. So in this case, the best solution I was able to find was set a timeout. There is a speaking word variable, and that's going to come in a key press allowed variable. That's going to keep the application from allowing you from not accepting key inputs until it's done speaking. So at the end of it spelling the word, we're going to tell the user go. And I added this fade out, fade in, fade out, fade in to make it blink. And then it's going to set the HTML. It's going to erase the go and give the user the ability to type. And we'll see where that comes into effect down here in the test key press function. And this is every single time there's an E here for the event. And we set this in the document ready function. So when there's a key down, we're going to send that event to the test key press. And we'll go back to the test key press. And you can see here, there's some stuff here. If event repeat is if the user is holding down a key, and it's just like if you hold down the E key and it starts saying E, 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 E. If that's going on, we're going to not allow them to press the repeat, to not do that. We're just going to say, nope, we're doing this. We're not allowing that, and return. If key press is not allowed, that's what the exclamation mark here means. And if the key press repeat is not allowed, or if the application is currently speaking a word, we're just going to return and skip the rest of this function. So while we're processing the key press, we're going to set key press allowed to false. We're going to check the current character array length, and we're going to see if the key code that was entered matches the current word character array. And then if it does, in this case, if it does, we're going to go, it's the correct letter, and this should be indented one more. We're going to grab the existing type, what they've typed so far, and we're going to add that to the current character in the current character array. And then this is just something I like to do, give the user a little flash of, change the background color to another bright color to let them know give them a feedback to let them know or give them the, I'm not even using this, alpha color. I'm not using alpha color anywhere. All right, we'll get rid of that. Background color. We're going to get a dark hexadecimal color, which is going to set a nice, changing dark background which we set here to let the user give the user some feedback that yeah, that's the right, you hit the right key. If it's not the first key pressed, if the first key has not been pressed, we're going to set up a timer, and that is this time right here. I'm not going to click Alt Tab, and now I'm going to click the wrong button, and we're going to set that timer up. Now, one thing I did add recently is if the application is currently speaking a word, pause the timer. Don't count speaking time in the typing time. And then we're going to shift the character array, which is to take the first element out of the array, which shortens it. If the array length is 0, congratulations, you got the word right. We're going to update the total correct. We're going to add 1 to your current streak of correct words. And then we're going to get your, we're going to update the current score to take the length times the string, which I had forgotten about that. That's how that's being scored. So your streak times the length will get your score up faster. Increase the current word level. Make sure we're not going past the max word level, and then get the next word and update the user displays, and finally allow the user to enter keys again. However, if it is the wrong key, let's stop the key presses. We're going to show the user the current word so they can see how it was spelled. We're going to play that really annoying MP3 of wrong, which I find it very annoying. My kids love it. They love that bzz sound, and they've used it many, many times. And sometimes they'll just hit random keys just to hear that bzz sound. However, it is a little aggravating for adults, like most kids' toys that make noise. You broke your streak, so we're setting that to 0. We're going to bring you down 1 level in the game. So if you were typing 7-letter words, you're now going to go down to a 6-letter word and start working your way back up. Make sure we're not going below the minimum word level. In this case, 3-letter words is the lowest level, and update the user. And then I added this timeout. This was originally just getting the next word, but what I found was the buzzer, kids would start typing, or the recital of the next word would begin before the buzzer had stopped buzzing. So I give it a 1-second timeout to let the correct word flash, hide the and let the correct word flash, let the buzzer finish buzzing. And then finally, originally I was allowing the key press to begin, but that was causing an issue with the speak and spell word. And so what I did is instead we don't allow key presses until it's finished speaking here as well. And so that is the application. I don't know what let's see how this goes.
Fun. F-U-N. Thus. T-H-U-S.
Thus.
Noted. N-O-T-E-D. Camera. C-A-M-E-R-A.
And that's the speak and spell game. Kind of one day I'd like to make an actual speak and spell, maybe speak and spell simulator, or add a speak and spell simulator to this. Not going to type a letter, not going to do Alt-Tab, keyboard shortcut. One last thing I want to show you. I keep a to-do list up here. There is an ongoing issue. I don't keep a checklist of things I've already done, but I like to keep a to-do list of these are the things I need to work on. And that's just something I do with these explorable explanations. I know working on big software projects, you really want to break things up. You don't want to have your CSS in the same file. You don't want to have it. In other explorable explanations, I've taken this word array or word array like this and moved it off into its own file, so I don't have to see it here. As you can see, it takes up a lot of space. It's a lot to scroll through. Whereas the application itself, what do we got here? We got 245 to 484. So that's 200 lines of code to write this. Not a big deal. And the text editor I'm using is Sublime Text. It's great. And another thing that's really great was also including my children in the playtesting portion of this. They both seem to really enjoy it. They both thought it was a good game, and they're looking forward to playing more of it, and I look forward to them getting their scores up higher and higher. So I hope you enjoyed this. It happened to be what I was working on this week, and I thought, well, I'm just going to do a video every week on whatever I feel like talking about, and this is what I was working on, so this is what I felt like talking about.
Buyer. B-U-Y-E-R. Ending. Genuine. G-E-N-U-I-N-A.
It's tough. I think 7. So this is an interesting end back thing. So you get to about level 7 and then you start having trouble. That's actually about right for a human. So you are normal. 7. Most people remembering 7 things that's kind of the limit, but you can get past that limit with practice.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Active. A-C-T-I-V-E.
You can't make it super fast.
Wait.
Maybe I should add. What if we added a repeat?
What if it's in super slow?
Let's see what happens. That.
Grant. G-R-A-N-T.
So what do you think about it?
Good game.
It's a good game. Do you like the what about the speaker?
#GG.
#GG for good game?
Yeah.
Nice.